We all remember the email scandal from a few weeks ago involving Hillary Clinton, where this magical moment happened. Watch.
I did not
have
email
sexual
any
relations
classified
with that
material to
Ms.
anyone
Lewinsky.
on my email.
I love the internet, I swear. But somehow the press has already forgotten. But not Larry Klayman of Freedom Watch. He's doing something about it and has filed a racketeering lawsuit over the still, how is this possible, still secret emails. Larry, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate your time today.
You're welcome, Dana.
I don't know if this was anyone else. If this was anyone else that had any other name but Hillary Clinton, I would assume at this point that they would have already been taken to court and they would be in jail for disregarding a court order, for disregarding a subpoena. How is this woman? She's now running, obviously, for the White House, and yet we don't even have any of these loose ends tied up with the 30-some-odd thousand emails that she deleted after they were subpoenaed. How is this even possible right now?
Well, the Clintons are above the law, and we have a history with that. When I was running Judicial Watch many years ago, the same thing happened. 1 million email went missing in the White House. We had a criminal trial for contempt over that. Nothing came of it. I think people lay off her to a large degree because they fear her. Remember, she got all those FBI files, 900 FBI files?
Yes.
And that intimidates Congress, but it's not intimidating us. And we brought this RICO case in a federal court in the Southern District of Florida. We are asking for those servers to be seized, to be inspected by forensic experts. We're confident they will be. And just yesterday, Dana, new information came out because our case is about suppressing email in the context of Freedom of Information Act lawsuits and other illegal acts. And this whole deal with Iran, where she's in fact granting waivers to people that are giving huge amounts of money to her husband, to herself, and the foundation, is relevant to our lawsuit. So we're confident that the judge has to rule that we can get access to that email because that's material evidence.
And you mentioned that as well, the situation with Iran. Of course, everybody's been talking about Peter Schweizer's new book coming out, Clinton Cash, and there is so much evidence there that points to this woman using her position as Secretary of State, using the State Department through which to funnel money to the Clinton Foundation. And then and I'm sure, Larry, that this is just a coincidence. Amazing how all of these entities, all of these countries started getting very favorable trade policy, trade agreements, and all kinds of stuff that worked out in their favor after, of course, they donated large sums of cash to the Clinton Foundation. I'm sure that that's completely just coincidental, Larry, and that there's nothing in the emails that would support the suspicion otherwise.
Well, you know, I used to say, where there's fire, there's smoke. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Do bears live in the woods? I mean, this is obvious. I went through this in the 90s with her. We uncovered that she was selling seats on Commerce Department trade missions as First Lady for campaign contributions to the Clinton-Gore campaign, to Democratic Party, to the Clinton Library. They sold overnight stays in the White House. They sold pardons. They sold everything they could. I used to joke they had a cat named Socks because this triggered the Chinagate scandal. And I said, you know, let's hope they haven't sold him to the Chinese. So the reality here is that this is nothing new for the Clintons. They have done this repeatedly. They feel that they're immune. I did get a finding that Bill Clinton had committed a crime when he released the Privacy Act files of a woman he had harassed in the Oval Office. But other than that, they've skated. I think this may be the end for her, though, because people have had it. Even the Democrats are frightened of her criminality.
And that, I think maybe that perhaps might be the most important distinction in the answer to that question, because after Benghazi happened and after, I mean, gosh, we could sit here and go through the scandals. It seems as though everyone always said, well, this is going to be the end of it. This is, you know, she cannot continue as a politician and seek elected office or appointed office or anything after this. But I think for perhaps maybe the first time, she has her own base scared. Is that the difference here?
That is the difference. And there's a history here. And we're going to remind the American public of that history. This is nothing new, as I just said. This is just part of their modus operandi. And that's why our lawsuit, and people can find it at freedomwatchusa.org, is so important, because we detail, they're called predicate acts, all of her illegal acts since she became First Lady to the present. You only need 2 to trigger the racketeering statutes. It's a civil statute, and it's a very powerful mechanism to get to her. You know, it's really a tragedy that our Justice Department, and I'm an alumnus of that, will not touch her because it's being run by President Obama. Obviously, they're not going to go after one of their own. So that's why we have to do the job, and the American people need to rise up, and then people like you, Dana, who play a super important role in getting the American people to understand how corrupt the Clintons are and how corrupt our government is generally.